Hey, it's Kat at Orion Billing. This is part 4 of the detailed medical billing step-by-step, including the software, the process, and how it all works together. I will link the other parts in the description so you can find them, and I highly recommend watching this series in order so that you can understand the terms and what I'm referring to going forward. I'm going to try to go through things more quickly here, but still give you all the connections. So, in this video, we're going to start with follow-up. Now, a certain number, hopefully the majority of your outgoing claims, if you did all the prior stuff really well, then the majority of your claims will come back clean, meaning they'll pay or they'll let you know what the patient owes. If that doesn't match up with what you've already collected, then you do your first round of patient billing. That certain number is going to go in. It's going to say, oh, we told you in verification that patient owes $25. Just kidding, they still have a deductible due, so they owe $180 or whatever it is. And that information will go into the software, and those patient statements or patient refunds can be processed at that point. But all the rest of them, the ones that never came back, where you haven't heard from the insurance company in what is a reasonable amount of time, or there was something wrong with the claim and things were denied that you didn't expect to get denied, this is where the insurance follow-up comes in. The short story is that not every claim pays correctly, and this is where you want the majority of your biller's time to go with follow-up and denials management. The billing department monitors outstanding claims and follows up on anything that hasn't been paid, is taking too long, or came back with a denial or underpayment, and this is an ongoing part of the billing cycle. It never really stops. A good practice management software is going to have great reports that are thorough, that allow you to look at all of this information from different perspectives, allow you to download reports to Excel, this is key, so that you can sort the data. I'll tell you, there's nothing to me more maddening than a software that has maybe decent reports, but you can only PDF them and you can't sort through anything. So it's actually insanity trying to go through it and handle issues. There are so many variables here in different types of reports that I'm not going to get into that here, but this is just to say that even if all of those other aspects of a practice management software are clunky and not ideal, good reports will make or break your billing department all on their own. Because if you can't thoroughly view who owes what errors there might have been, when it's due, when it should have been paid, what should have been paid, who should have paid it, and be able to sort that by patient, by date of service, by insurance company, then it's very difficult to work and handle those claims. You just one by one go through hundreds or maybe thousands of patient accounts. And there are two sides to this. There is the insurance accounts receivable that a biller needs to work, and very often there is the patient accounts receivable that needs to be worked, which means that the biller needs to go through both of these, ideally at least every month, and work through what hasn't been paid and make sure that patient balances are correct and that nothing got missed or auto-posted in a certain way that it shouldn't have been before the patient gets their statement. You also want to do this before it's too late to work those claims with the various insurance companies, because there are deadlines. There are deadlines for timely filing. There are deadlines for appealing claims that you feel should have processed differently. So this is something that you want your billing department or your biller doing fairly frequently. In this process of follow-up comes communication with the office, whether you're a remote employee or you're an outside billing company. In my opinion, good communication between billing and the office is a primary point of a good billing company. This is something that can be pretty difficult to do with an overseas billing company. I've seen it just happen so often. I'm cleaning up accounts right now for a practice that their prior biller of the last 5 years just didn't communicate well with the office or with U.S. insurance companies. And that can cause a lot of problems, obviously, with collecting payment. Good communication with the office, between the office and a biller, goes through this whole medical billing process. Often there's information that's needed to be received by the biller or information that needs to be given to whoever is in there in the office daily dealing with patients. There are so many variables, again, but my team often speaks to our client's office point of contact to say, hey, I see that Mr. Smith is coming in tomorrow. His insurance verification said that deductible didn't apply to his services, but when it actually processed, it actually does apply. I'm trying not to go on too many tangents here, but maybe documentation needs to be updated, maybe the provider needs to clarify something in the notes, maybe a patient needs to be contacted, and that kind of back and forth between the billing team and the office is, in my opinion, essential to a good billing process. Now, next on the flowchart is denials management, and this goes hand in hand with follow-up. When claims come back denied, that's not the end of the road. It is a work task. Good reports, again, in a software are extremely helpful here. Denials management means reviewing why the claim was denied, correcting whatever the issue was, or resubmitting or appealing to get the insurance company to stop being dumb and pay up. Reporting is the next step here on this medical billing process flowchart that I made. Obviously, we use reports earlier in this flow as well, but reporting is how a practice knows how their billing is actually doing and where there might be problems to address. Next comes patient billing. Again, this is round 2 patient billing, which I included on my flowchart because this is after any problem claims have been paid, any corrections have been made to get any earlier problems sorted out, then any remaining balance, copays, deductibles, coinsurance, or in some cases, maybe non-covered services, gets billed to the patient. Patient statements go out, and other collection efforts might be made, and if a payment isn't received, the account may eventually go to a collections agency. Often, a biller or billing company will facilitate that, manage sending unpaid patient balance reports to collections, and then posting any payments that come back into the practice software or eventually writing them off if they're not going to end up being collectible. Okay, so wrapping up. That is the full cycle. It is not the full detail of every aspect of it, but we have touched on every part of the medical billing process here, from the moment a patient calls to schedule, all the way through to collections if needed. Obviously, there is more to billing and collections than just the biller, because it starts with the front desk, and the patient's communication with their provider can have an effect on it, and running through all of it is your practice software, which keeps your data organized. It keeps your clearinghouse making sure your claims get to the right place in the right format, and your billing team able to manage every step in between. If you're a brand new biller or a provider who's just opening a practice and trying to understand how all of this fits together, I hope this helped. Thanks again to the provider I spoke to recently for the inspiration for this series. If you have questions, drop them in the comments or visit my website and reach out to me at orionbilling.com. And if you want to see deeper dives into any of these individual steps, let me know. There's a lot more to cover on each one of them. Have a great day.